Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, right now we are stepping into the ultimate assessment kitchen. I'm your master auditor, and today we are taking your raw, unpolished Cambridge AS and A-level mathematics answers, specifically for the 9709 syllabus, and we are going to transform them into absolute top-tier Michelin star responses. Examiners consistently report that series, and particularly the binomial expansion of a plus b to the power of n, is literally one of the most misunderstood, botched areas in the entire syllabus. We see the same tragic mistakes year after year. So we are going to look exactly at what the chief examiners are craving, and we are going to conduct a brutal, rigorous kitchen audit on your methodology. By the end of this, you won't just be calculating, you'll be plating a mathematical masterpiece. Okay, let's pull up today's audit menu. We'll start by prepping the raw ingredients, move straight into cooking up the method mark recipe, run a harsh examiner kitchen audit to diagnose mistakes, and finish up with 5-star examen plating. Let's get right to work. Section 1. The raw ingredients. This is the conceptual foundation of binomial expansion. Now, to understand why so many answers fail to impress the examiners, we have to look at the core cognitive domains being tested here: knowledge, understanding, application, and analysis. I want you to picture two types of apprentices in my mathematical kitchen. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is an overcomplicator. When Alex sees a binomial expansion question, he panics and just dumps massive piles of raw, unanalyzed factual definitions onto the page. He'll write out the entire expansion formula from the formula booklet, term after term after term, even when the question is only asking for one specific coefficient. He's wasting precious time. Then you have Sam. Sam is a fast cook. Sam rushes the preparation steps. Sam creates this beautiful, neat sentence presentation, but completely forgets to include the core ingredients like, I don't know, a negative sign, or ignoring the power that needs to be applied to a constant. Both of these approaches absolutely fail the core cognitive domains. You have to balance your knowledge with precise application. Now look at this quote right here. This is absolutely crucial. Candidates referencing cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. What does this actually mean for us? Well, what's really interesting is that the top-tier candidates don't just memorize formulas in isolation, they blend their mathematical ingredients. They know that binomial expansion doesn't just exist in a vacuum. You might need to use this exact expansion to find a specific coefficient that then feeds directly into a probability distribution or maybe an intricate algebraic proof. If you deeply understand how the A term, the B term, and the combinatorics interact with each other, you aren't just reciting a recipe. You are actively thinking like a master mathematician. You're creating flavor profiles across the entire syllabus. Moving on to Section 2, the method mark recipe. This is all about earning marks for your process. Okay, so the crucial point I need to hammer home is that Cambridge examiners award heat control and technique. This is the method mark strategy. It means you get marks for showing your systematic, evidence-based reasoning, not just the final number. Look, if you just punch numbers blindly into your calculator to find the coefficient of x cubed and you simply write down negative 540 at the bottom of the page, if you made one tiny microscopic slip, you get 0 marks. 0. The dish goes straight in the trash. But under the method mark framework, if you show me the unsimplified combination formula and you show me the correct powers applied to A and B in clear, distinct brackets, you secure the majority of the marks right there, even if your final mental addition was slightly off. You are proving to the examiner that you know the recipe, even if the oven timer was off by a second. So let me give you the exact 3-step heat control formula. This is your procedural framework to break down given information before that exam timer hits 0. I actually had Alex and Sam debate this in a simulated timeline the other day. Sam wanted to jump straight to step 2, but Alex, rightfully so this time, insisted on step 1, deconstruct. What is N? What is A? What is B? You extract that data first. Then, step 2, solve systematically. You break the expansion down, you write the combination, the first term to the descending power, the second term to the ascending power, and finally, step 3, evaluate and check for reasonableness. This is where you justify your dish. If your N is 5, right, and you have an x squared term and a negative 3 to the power of 4, wait a second, 2 plus 4 is 6. If those powers don't add up perfectly to your N value of 5, your framework just failed. You need to catch that sour note immediately before you serve the dish to the examiner. And if you want that 5-star rating, you must, and I mean absolutely must, follow these strict presentation conventions. Dumping raw, unannotated math onto the page will instantly fail your kitchen audit. We are talking about clear notation and rigorous working. Let's talk about brackets for a second. If the question involves a negative term, say minus 2x, that negative sign must, without exception, be wrapped securely inside parentheses when you raise it to a power. If you miss those brackets, the fundamental logic of your expansion collapses like a terrible soufflé. It is a strict formatting convention. You cannot ignore it and expect top-tier marks. Let's dive into Section 3, the Examiner Kitchen Audit, where we diagnose those sour response strings. But wait, kitchen freeze! Before we unlock this 5-star paragraph structure and audit the student failures to completely transform your final grades, we need to optimize your revision recipe. Take 1 second right now to subscribe to Ace the Exams at the handle @Ace the Exams. Imagine that kitchen timer dinging right now and morphing into a notification bell. Hit that bell so you never miss our weekly grade makeovers, whether you are cooking up results at IGCSE, O-levels, or AS&A levels, and drop a comment below sharing exactly which Cambridge subject you are conquering next. All right, aprons on, let's get back to the audit. This slide brilliantly illustrates the 3 most toxic mistakes we pull straight from the principal examiner reports. These will instantly sour your mathematical dish. Number 1, vague answers. This means writing out the general expansion formula, wasting time, without actually substituting the specific values from the prompt. Number 2, formatting failures. Like we just talked about, forgetting that a negative squared becomes a positive. It's an amateur mistake. And number 3, answers not specific to the context. If the question asks for the coefficient of the x squared term and you find the entire expansion and don't explicitly highlight the x squared coefficient at the end, you haven't answered the question.
Okay, welcome to the interactive viewer taste test arena. I want you to run a visual ingredient scan on this comparison right now. Look at the left side, the sour response string. It's just a scattered, toxic mess of numbers. Now spot the poison sentence. Where did they lose the mark? Right there. They missed the command word hence. When Cambridge uses hence, it means you must use your previous answer to solve this part. By ignoring that core seasoning, they just lost 60% of the available mark yield instantly. Now look at the right side, the Michelin star plating. Clear headings, a flawless analytical logic string, the combination formula is explicitly written out, the substitutions are securely bracketed, and the final coefficient is extracted and boxed perfectly. During our workshop, Sam was fighting tooth and nail to build this direct analytical logic string on the right, while Alex was sweating, trying to overload the layout with heavy terminology. The right side is what secures those high-tier marking bands.
As your master auditor, I literally cannot stand sloppy paragraph structures or disjointed logic. And as this examiner alert proves, providing a generic answer without linking back to the scenario drops your overall score right into the gutter. Think about the Peel structure: point, evidence, explanation, link, but apply it to math. Your point is your formula. Your evidence is your clear, bracketed substitution. Your explanation is your step-by-step expansion. And your link is tying that final extracted number directly back to what the question actually asked for. If it's a multi-part word problem where the binomial expansion models a real-world growth rate and you leave your answer as a raw floating fraction without context, it's undercooked. Section 4. 5-star exam plating. Let's look at the ultimate execution checklist. So how do we perfectly plate this binomial expansion to max out our assessment objective meters to a perfect 100%? Here is your memory hack table. This matrix maps the deconstruct, solve, and evaluate framework directly to the examiner's core parameters. In the deconstruct stage, you're extracting exact data, N, A, and B, and identifying limitations. During the solve stage, your method mark focus is entirely on clear working and notation. You are tracking those exponents like a hawk. And finally, evaluate. You justify your decisions with evidence and link it back to the given context. Remember, a 5-star response doesn't just act like a calculator, it demonstrates evaluative thinking. Top candidates evaluate their work live, while they are cooking. They realize that if the B ingredient in the bracket is a negative fraction, the signs of the terms in the final expansion will naturally alternate: positive, negative, positive, negative. If you get to the end of your page and your final answer is a string of purely positive terms when there was clearly a negative ingredient at the start, you should instantly trigger an alarm in your head. You question assumptions. You identify that limitation. This real-time self-correction is exactly what separates the raw apprentices from the Michelin star candidates. I want you to ask yourself this final, provocative question before you step into that exam hall. Are you just serving raw, scattered equations, hoping the examiner finds something edible? Or are you plating a perfectly contextualized Michelin star mathematical argument? Remember the 3-step ingredient prep, master the heat control formula with your timing, and always use your past line review checklist. Keep refining your recipe. Now, do not forget to subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams. Click that notification bell for our weekly grade masterclasses. And seriously, drop a comment below sharing exactly which Cambridge subject and level you're preparing to conquer next. Thanks for joining this explainer, and I will see you back in the kitchen next time.